Hello friends, welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel. If today is your first visit to our channel, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome and invite you to view any of our over 500 videos that we've arranged for your convenience in playlists, as we are confident you're going to find something both useful and entertaining to watch. If you've been here before, welcome back. If today is your birthday, I want to wish you a very happy birthday. We have another beautiful day here in the homestead and another homestead project. As we've mentioned before, we are working in making the house ready for paint. And as we're doing that, we notice that our shutters are not something we want to keep. There are a couple of problems with them. First of them, they are plastic and very flimsy. And the other problem is that they're really the wrong size for the windows we have. That can happen, of course, because when you buy ready-made things, clearly that's a plastic ready-made thing, you don't always find the size you're looking for, and that's another advantage of making things yourself. So today we're going to make shutters to replace these old looking and sad looking shutters that are made of plastic, and add more curb appeal to the house and make it look more the way we think it's supposed to look. So stick around and we're going to show you how to make shutters for your house. In most plastic shutters, you're going to find some covers, and these ones have 4, and what I assume underneath are screws. So we're going to use a removal tool. You don't have to have this tool, you can use a flathead screwdriver, but I happen to have it, so I'm going to use it. And I guess it has no screws, that's what it is. The other 2 are on the top of the shutter, and we're going to get on a little ladder and remove them. We're going to be right with you.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay. This one just doesn't want to go under. It's like it's at an angle.
Or try the other one if you want. Or put the tool behind the whole shutter and see if you can pry it.
Hold on. Give me a second. That was part of the problem, wasn't it? The shutter then starts. Like the weight of the shutter pulls it down.
Okay. So today we're going to build this shutter system for the front of our house to replace our old plastic, we threw it away, the plastic one, boards. So friends, we're going to go from this to this. And we did cut our board a little long because the edges are not really nice and clean, and we want 2 clean edges. So now we're going to cut the exact dimension and we're going to clean this other edge.
Okay.
All right, let's get to that. So we finished cutting our first piece and we went and dry fit it to make sure we are correct. So now we're going to cut the second, and we're going to use our first piece, but we're going to leave a little extra on the end so we can clean the edge again, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do the second cut. Okay, what is sitting there? We need to always make sure we're... Okay, come a little bit closer.
Well, you have to let it go because you're pushing down now. Go.
So we turn it over, and as you can see, we have about half an inch or so space there. Elpida is lining it up on the other side, and we are going to, okay, and we're going to make the next cut. Okay, we need to make sure that this is, yeah, otherwise it won't be straight. Are we a little long? What happened? Why we're long? Right, here we are ready to start the assembly. We have chosen the part of the board that we want to see, that want to be visible. Again, we tend to like imperfections on the wood. You might not, and if you don't, then you want to turn it over so that is not visible, right? Mm-hmm. For us, it adds character, so we want them visible. Now, we decided to want a little bit of spacing, and we decided to use this steering stick for our gauge. And I'm not sure if I will be able to close this gap. These are not very straight boards. As you can see here, there is a bow on this board, which is not huge, but it is clearly visible when you look at it there, right? So we're going to, the next thing we need to experiment with is if we want 2 or 3 or exactly what we want the shutter detail to be in the front. So let us figure that out, and we're going to show you the next steps in the dry fit.
But we are using the main board, the original cut, to make the second one.
Because we're also known as the non-measured channel.
There you go.
Okay. To add a little visual interest in the appearance of our shutters, we're going to cut fairly small little pieces that we're going to attach, come along, like so.
Mm-hmm. It will be like
On each, one on each, right?
Mm-hmm. So, like this.
Okay.
And so not only does it add the visual interest, but it gives you the impression that there are square dowel type things holding the shutters together.
Right, when in reality they're not. This is just for looks.
For looks, but that's the impression we're trying to get.
Yeah, and in order to keep consistent this size on the saw here, we have created a little stop, and we are going to cut them in sequence, right, one after the other. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to have 8 for each shutter, right?
Yep, 8 for each shutter.
So we're going to get right to it.
Okay.
You might want to come around. I cannot. Oh, okay. So we're going to mark where we want our pieces to go, and we have made a little mark so we can put the glue. Ideally, I would like to put tight bond 3, but we only have tight bond 2, and that's okay. If this was a structural thing, I would have insisted on tight bond 3, which is water resistant. But for this project, tight bond 2 is appropriate.
So just kind of in the middle, like
Yeah.
this.
Okay, and then we're going to align the piece to our marks. We want the top and bottom pieces to be the same distance from the top and bottom of the shelf. So don't worry about that. Let's make sure that they're perfect on the sides, and then we'll align them.
That's right.
Ah, fuck. Stop it. All right, now we can use this to make sure the distance is correct, because we know that the outsides will not move. My hand doesn't want to cooperate, sorry.
sure that ends are lined up too. It hasn't moved any.
Okay.
Okay, you can continue. You want to double check the distance or not?
No.
Okay.
I think it's the same thing where you have to back them off and then redo them because those two boards are not flush.
Oh. Okay. Are they flush now? Okay. So we're going to do the same thing on the other end. And when you do that, as we did before, align to make sure that you have perfect edges right and left. It looks like it needs to move a little because it's not flush here. No, I mean up there.
Well, now you went it way over the mark.
I understand, but it has to be flush. Is it flush there?
No.
Okay, make it flush to that. Don't worry about the mark.
All right, well, I don't want it to be angled down either.
So here we are. We have attached the two vertical elements. Now these are structural to the shutter because this is what holds the pieces together, right? Now you can leave it like that with the screws, provide a visual element, but we thought we were going to cover them with those little pieces we cut, and we are going to do that, and we're going to show you how it looks when we're done. So we want to show you the difference with the little detail we put there versus just the screws. And I think this is a matter of taste. I don't think there is a right and wrong. We prefer this other look that looks like we've used square dowels to connect the pieces, right? Mm-hmm. But the screws are okay fine depending on how your house looks and what your taste is. But in that case you can see the difference, and that requires a little extra work. It doesn't cost anything because that came out of scraps, so it doesn't add anything to your project. But I think it adds a little bit of visual detail.
Mm-hmm. And you could even, if you had some of the kind of gate hardware, you could attach it here, so kind of the wrought iron strapping kind of thing. That, of course, is pretty expensive. So
Right.
we're going with an alternate method.
All right. So we're going to use liquid nails to attach the little squares. And we're going to be right back with flush fit. It helps to do a little bit of a sanding over the screws because, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a roughness, and if you put the piece there, it just doesn't want to sit straight or correctly, as you can see there, right? So by hitting it with a little bit of a sanding, you allow it to sit flush and look better. Now the only downside of this is that if you want to take this apart, you will have to remove these little wood dowels, but it is not a big deal. So now that everything sits nice and flush, we are going to use liquid nails and attach them. You might want to pierce it again with the side thing. What do you need?
The towels are right down there by your leg on the right.
You're not ready yet. You need to pump it a couple of times. You're not touching the front.
I know.
It will not pump. Is it empty?
No, it's not empty.
Did something came out of it when you
No.
put the thing in? I mean,
Yeah, it was white.
Yeah, it's coming out. It's just a little
Okay.
hard
Just
serve.
got it.
What do you think?
Got just a little bit of bleed out on this side.
Mm-hmm.
it's supposed to be more liquid than it is, but you know, it's a little old, I think, and we're just using what we have. Maybe use less in the next one. It doesn't need much, just needs to hold that up. So we have put a little pressure on top of the little accent pieces that we use to give them the opportunity to create a good adhesion with the board, right? And now while we're waiting for this to dry, we are going to start staining the shutter. Here you can paint it the color of your trim, right? You could leave it unfinished. We consider actually using cedar boards, but that would end up being almost double the cost, and we decided against it. But you could use cedar and leave it to weather naturally. Our house is cedar planks, but it has been painted. Otherwise, it would have worth to leave it with cedar, right? But in that case, again, this should be finished to match your decor, whatever you want. So we're going to start staining. Normal method.
I'm not, because it's so rough a board that it would just leave bits of cloth, you know, the paper cloth that I usually use. And see, there's so much, you know, natural roughness in these boards that I want to make sure and get inside there.
Yep. And we always love the look of stain in our finishes. And this is no exception. You think it makes more sense to have it stained before you assemble it?
Well, I mean, it depends, right, on how you're going to put it together. We could have stained it before we put the pieces together, but that would have made it a little more difficult to use glue. You know, we talk about that. Certainly nothing wrong with doing it before. But you may have to adjust.
Okay, folks, and we're going to be back with you as soon as we finish the stain. So the process for all the shutters is the same. We are starting on our second shutter. We cut the pieces off camera, so we are ready, and they are going to be identical. Again, you always need to dry lay out first to see what you like. You can see what side you like, what character you like on your piece. And while we're waiting for the stain to dry on our first piece, we're going to assemble the second piece. In fact, even though ours are for decoration, this exact style can be used for functional shutters, not stutters. Well, friends, this is our final product, and we really like how it ended. What do you like this thing?
Yes,
Looks great.
it really, really makes a difference in the feel of the house.
Yeah, well, we're very happy, and the nice little detail makes it pop out. I mean, it gives it a little character, doesn't it?
Yep, for sure. And I really like the character of the boards that we used.
Yeah. Again, not everyone would like this, but we happen to like it. Okay? So let's talk cost about them. We have seen similar shutters, wood shutters, go for $100, $150 a shutter. All the shutters for us that we're building 4 shutters for the 2 windows in the front of the house, using this wood is around $70 plus tax in our area. And if you were to use cedar, it would be about $100, $110 plus tax. You can do it more expensive, you can do it cheaper. We went kind of like we usually go middle of the road. I mean, you can buy cheaper wood and you can buy more expensive wood. But for us, this is a nice, wouldn't you call it an entry-level project? I mean, it's not a very advanced project.
It is. You know, we use screws to put it together, nothing fancy. Some stain,
Yeah,
cut a few pieces.
and liquid nails.
Yeah.
So there is no very fancy joinery or anything on this. This is a straightforward project, which we hope you're going to also do. And if you do, send us pictures to see your wonderful work. And we hope you enjoyed it, as we hope we're going to enjoy it for many years to come. Well, friends, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. It is a nice, reasonably simple project to do. You can do it with any kind of saw. We used a miter saw, but you can do it with a table saw. You can use it with a jigsaw, any kind of saw. The cuts are not really that intricate. The cuts are not very difficult to do. And frankly, if you don't have a saw, the main parts of the build, you can ask your home store to cut for you. If you did enjoy this video and you want to support our channel, we'll appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't, the other button works as well. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know what else you want to see in future episodes of the Urban Homesteading channel. From Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, Elpida, and the Urban Homesteading channel, stay safe, wash your hands, put your masks on, and we're going to see you soon. Farewell, friends.